Hello friends, welcome to my another video, and today we're going to talk about top 10 things to know about Istanbul. So as you might already know, Istanbul is the largest city in the country and it serves as the country's economic, cultural and historical hub. So according to Wikipedia, the city was founded as Byzantium in the 7th century BC by Greeks, and the city served as an imperial capital for almost 1600 years before Ankara replaced it as the capital of the country. So the city sees so many visitors throughout the year. To be exact, it saw 13.4 million foreign visitors in 2018. So it has a lot of things to do, but I would say the most important or crucial places to visit if you're visiting Istanbul would be the monuments. The most prominent ones being Hagia Sophia, which was once a mosque and then it was converted into a church and then to a museum and then back again to a mosque. So it has a lot of history. And then there's Blue Mosque, which is in the same area, in the Sultan Ahmed area. Then there is also Galata Tower, which is near Karakoy, the city across the bridge from the Bosphorus River. There's Basilica Cistern, which is very famous. You must see it. So just so you know, Istanbul has also been featured in so many Hollywood movies like Inferno, like in the movie Russia with Love, also in the famous James Bond movie Skyfall. So it has a lot of beauty, architectural beauty to it. There's also two beautiful palaces to visit, Topkapi Palace and Dolmabahce Palace. I hope I pronounced it correctly, but those are very beautiful. So Topkapi Palace was built earlier than Dolmabahce Palace as like a temporary palace, but it's very beautiful. They have a lot of things like cutlery or the king's room with all the furniture preserved for the visitors to view. So that's a must visit. Now, things to do in Istanbul, and it could range from ancient cities like Troy. You can take a day trip to places like Troy. But there's another place which is called Prince Island. Now I wouldn't recommend that. I felt like it's not that valuable. It just it consumes all of your day, and there's nothing really to see on that island. So it wouldn't be the worst thing if you drop it out of your itinerary. Now talking about museums, there is a lot of like underwater museums, aquatic museums. Then there's also Madame Tussauds, but keep in mind they are kind of like far away from the main city. Other good thing to see in Istanbul, apart from all the historical monuments, is whirling dervish dance. So there's also a place called Mevlana Museum in Konya, which is another city within Turkey, and it is most famous to watch this Sufi whirling dervish dance. But then, for example, if you miss out on that, you can definitely catch it at Istanbul, and I'll leave in the description box where you can book it from and where exactly is it located. About Istanbul is transportation. So the city has a lot of public transportation options. So it has a tram, which is like a ground level train that you can also find in most other European countries. Then there are buses. I won't really recommend public buses because they're super slow and the traffic gets pretty crazy throughout the day. And then there are yellow taxis. There are also shuttles that go from, let's say, airport to a hotel, hotel to airport, and you can book them online as well as through a hotel. Then there's yellow cab or yellow taxis, which are basically the kind of cabs you're going to see if you even book through Uber. Suggestion on that would be to use tram if you are hopping from one monument to another. For example, there's a station very close to Grand Bazaar. There's a station at Sultan Ahmed Square Then there is a tram station near Topkapi Palace, near Dolmabahce. So although tram could also get very like crowded during peak hours, and it might not be very great if you have like an infant or toddler with you, but if not, you can just hop in, hop out. It's convenient to have an Istanbul card, so it basically helps you get into the metro and also in the tram and also in buses if you want to use it. So in order to get that, you can just find a yellow machine for cards, and it can be quite tricky, but if you just go there and if you just change the language from Turkish to English if it's not already in English, and then you can just follow the instructions to get a new card, which costs around I believe 25 to 50 lira just for the card. And then to top up, you can just place your card on the machine and enter your cash into it. Or there are machines which only take cash, and there are machines which only take card. So if you're not able to do it, you can ask help from a local person, and they're really good and really warm at helping. Here to live in Istanbul, so it's very hard to find very luxurious lush hotels in Istanbul, as it is very crowded, just like any other major city in the world. So if you want to if you live in Sarkasi, which is a town in the European side of Bosphorus River, it will be very close, like it's a walking distance from Grand Bazaar in Hagia Sophia, and the tram also goes through the city. There are also some very good restaurants in the area, and you can also find like reasonably priced hotels online. But I would say, yeah, do your research, look at your Google ratings, look at ratings on the site like hotels.com, Expedia, etc. if you're ever. The other place to live would be across the bridge. So there's a city like Karakoy, and you can also live at Taksim Square. So the second hotel where I stayed was at Taksim Square, with just like 2 minutes walk to Taksim Square and 5 minutes walk to Istiklal Street, which is and also to Galata Tower. Both of these neighborhoods are really good. They're just walking distance from very famous restaurants. So the other thing to know is where to shop in Istanbul. Istanbul is definitely a shopping place. So if you want, it depends on what are you looking to shop for. So if you want to shop for some of the local stuff like crafts or clothes or things like that, then you can go to Grand Bazaar. Now Grand Bazaar has a lot of things. There's also Spice Bazaar, but you should be very alert because some of the things that they sell there is fake. I believe most would think they sell there is fake. Like one of the shopkeepers showed us how he has double standards on the kind of real food and original genuine food that he's selling based on what they're priced at. So pay caution there and shop wisely wherever you're shopping. Now if you want to be shopping for like branded stuff, then there are a lot of shopping malls in the city. The one that I personally visited was the Zorlu Center. It is a very it has most of the many like luxury brands. They're starting from Prada, Gucci, Chanel, etc, etc. So you can find everything. There are also some good restaurants. Now another pro tip there is that if you are traveling from another country, for example, I was traveling from US, so you must compare the price of stuff like clothes or bags. So things were like cheaper in US as compared to things that they were trying to sell to us there, especially for branded things like sportwear and other things. And so I mean, you don't really have to buy it there if it doesn't make sense for you, but you can definitely buy things like souvenirs, or like Istanbul is also famous for like leather, Turkish glass. When I talk about Turkish glass, it could be cutlery, cups, stuff like that. I wish I knew it before I was to Istanbul. You need to walk a lot in Istanbul. You really need to walk a lot. You have to be on your feet a whole lot. I mean, I have lived different parts of the world, and I've walked a lot. So I'm not talking the kind of walk you have to do in New York, and New York also is a very walkable city. You have to walk a lot to catch a train, stuff like that. But the thing with Istanbul is it is very hilly. So for example, if your hotel is somewhere in the streets, you have to walk a lot to get up to your hotel or get down from the hotel. Now so that's the tip when you're booking hotel. Make sure it is very close to a main road where you can catch a tram or where cabs can easily come. Now you might ask why I could stay anywhere and I would order an Uber, but the thing with Uber is the drivers won't accept the ride if your hotel is very deep in the streets and it's not along a main road. So you'll be left waiting for a cab on Uber, and then you have to walk down the streets every time you want to go somewhere and basically end up losing time. So that's not what you want. For me, for example, I wanted a hotel with a view, and such hotels would definitely be at an elevation, so a little bit higher. You need to walk up to there. So yeah, what's more important? Are you willing to walk just to have like a nice hotel view, or you just don't want to walk in at all and you would have and you should walk. I would say that if you are walking in the city, that's how you would see the real side of Istanbul. So, and it's not like you're the only person walking. Everyone is on their foot. There's so many people, so many tourists, and they walk. On that, you need to carry forget about heels, ladies. I mean, I wasn't able to use any of my heels during my Istanbul trip. Like, forget about that, except when maybe you are taking a dinner cruise or a dinner boat. But even then, the person made us walk just to reach to the shuttle. Where to find good food, and how much would you pay for a meal? So an average meal costs around 250 lira to 300 lira per person, if you're like at a good or a decent place. Now talking about food, there's a place called Hafiz Mustafa, and some of the people might already know. So it's basically known for Turkish sweets, for example baklava and Turkish delights, and they have a lot of collection of different kinds of baklavas. Now they also offer drinks like Turkish tea and coffee, so you can just go there, grab your box of baklavas, and also have your Turkish coffee along with it. Then the other things to eat would be kunifi, pide, and stuff like that. And you can find them in many restaurants. Again, in Circasi, Karakoy, most of the restaurants, you can definitely check out their ratings on Google Maps before visiting. Check out their menu. You have to plan your trip before you're in Istanbul, else you're going to waste a whole lot of time just planning, and you're not going to be able to see a lot of places. So I would advise to plan your trip, make bookings online in advance before you're actually in the city, and you have to plan your day accordingly. For example, visiting Hagia Sophia takes from 2 to 4 hours easy. So that's one thing. Although it's free, there's no entry fee, but I would recommend you to have like a tourist pass, like Istanbul tourist pass, for example, that I purchased myself. So it covers a lot of attraction like Basilica Sistine, Galata Tower, and everything. But you have to really understand how much is the duration of your stay. For example, if you're only there for like 3 days, and all of the stuff that they offer in the tourist pass, you might not be able to cover it, just because some stuff is like 1 or 2 hours away from the main city. And so, but that could be cost effective even if you're visiting a few of the attractions. Like Basilica Sistine itself costs more than 200 lira. Galata Tower has an entry fee, which is also pretty high, and so you can consider buying that. But definitely plan out your itinerary and the kind of stuff that you... Now, one of the other things to do is like they have a dinner boat or dinner cruise. It's not exactly a cruise, it's basically a huge boat where they have like a lot of people, they bring them in. So there's a Turkish dance, there's food. My personal experience, it's not like ultra luxurious or even luxurious to begin with, but it's a different experience. You get to see the city at night, like from the water you see that kind of skyline of Istanbul, so that's a good experience. But especially in winters you won't be able to go out like on the deck of the ship to see how the city looks, so maybe not so much worth. But definitely post your questions or experiences below, and I'll look forward to it. Thanks for watching. Please share, subscribe, and comment. If you like the video, please hit the likes button as well. Thank you. So go for it. I